Hi guys, hi, how's it going? How you doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today I am doing my best of 2023. So I did do my worst of 2023. That did go up a couple weeks ago, and today I'm going to go through my best of 2023. As you know, I do all of my year wrap-up videos in January because I feel like doing it in December just cuts me short of one whole month to get familiar with some of my products. And at that point in time, honestly, I am well aware of what I feel was a miss and what I feel was an awesome, product bringing into my collection. But I just want an excuse to play in December and not have to worry about meticulously analyzing my products in that month. So there's that. With that said, for those of you new here, hi, my name is Donna. I'm a lover of all things high-end, colorful beauty and self-care. I work as a field business leader for Ulta Beauty. You get a lot of education in my position. I like to bring you that education here. But ultimately, I'm just out here talking about makeup because I enjoy it. I'm assuming you enjoy it also. So let's be friends. Let's do the thing. I hope that you want to stick around, and let's just jump right into this conversation about the best products that I tried last year. I have a ton of products sitting right next to me, and these really are the best of the best. Like, when I think of last year and what I brought into my collection last year and what I couldn't imagine myself parting with and what I continue to want to pull from, these are truly the ones that I can't seem to put down. I am going to start talking about them. I am first, though, going to try and put them into different categories because I feel like I just grabbed all the products and slapped them onto my table thingy here and don't really have any kind of rhyme or reason to them. Okay, I think I got it situated. So I'm going to start with base products that I brought into my collection last year that I absolutely loved and feel like I can't put down. So let's start first with primer. The only face primer I have to talk about right now, because I don't think I brought in a whole lot of primer last year, it is the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. And as much of a not a pore filling primer kind of person as I am, I really do feel like this is a beautiful, beautiful primer. And I've realized that my camera doesn't focus on anything that I hold back here, so forgive me for old school YouTube fashion of doing this. So this is just kind of like a putty kind of primer, and it is one of those primers that you just a small amount and then just pushing it into your skin in the areas that you really want it to literally fill. I don't really have a pore problem, but I do have a lot of fine lines because I'm 47 years old. So of course I'm gonna have some fine lines, but specifically here in the middle of my forehead where I have the scowl lines from looking at my kids with the crazy eye. And I find that if I push it into this area that it really does help fill in those 11s. I also have not got a pore issue up here, but I do feel like I have a little bit of a pore issue down here on my chin area. And that is where I typically will get a pimple if I'm gonna get a pimple. So I use it in my chin area. I feel like my makeup just grabs onto it and holds onto it super tight. So this is an unexpected favorite for me in the year 2023. I grabbed it because Tati talks about it. Everybody literally talks about it like it's the best thing on the planet, and it truly is a great, great primer. And it doesn't have that silicone-y, wiry, almost slippy feel to it. It really is just a beautiful putty. Anyways, I'm going to quit talking about that. The next one is this, and this actually came to me in my Beautylish Lucky Bag in January of last year. And I'm not sure that this is actually a primer, but this is the Hindash Color Fluid, and this is in the shade Canvas. I have all kinds of eye primers in my life, right? There is a ton that I do not like. There's a few that I do like. This is a product that I got in my collection just happenstance, right? And didn't know what to do with it at first. Started using it as an eye primer, and hands down, one of the best eye primers that I have. Canvas is a good name for it because it really does go on, blank out anything that you have on your skin. You guys can see it right there. It blanks out anything that you have in your eyes, like any kind of veining or anything like that. It doesn't sink into any kind of texture or fine lines. It doesn't create texture, and it really does just create this blank canvas for your eye shadows to go over the top of. It's not super wet, so it doesn't like take a while to dry down. It goes on. I can spread it out. It just creates a blank canvas. And for somebody who likes to play with their eyeshadows, this truly is one of the best eyeshadow primers that I have used, hands down. Foundations, I do think, let's go there. I bought this and I thought this might be the dumbest thing that you've ever purchased, but I bought it with a Sephora Rouge reward, so those $100 like gift cards that you can get with points, and it was $85. So it took up almost the entirety of that Rouge reward, but you guys can see how much I have used this. This is probably hands down the best purchase I've ever made in my life, because I can take this anywhere with me. I travel a lot for my job. We all know this. When I do go out of town, this is what I take with me, because I can use any of these for not only foundation shades, because they lay on the skin so beautifully, but also concealer shades, eye primer. I can use this one. Obviously, you can see I have used it as a contour. I can use this one as a bronzer. That one I haven't touched so much. I prefer my powder bronzers, if I'm honest with you, but this I could use as a bronzer if I wanted to. It's also got some highlighting shades down here. So the only thing that's not in this is blush. And this is like my one and done palette. So really great purchase for me on the year. Really love that thing. The other two that I have are just straight up foundations. So this one I purchased in September. This is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation, and this is in the shade Light 60N. And this is the first time I've ever tried this, and the only reason why I purchased it was because I purchased it for my daughter and it laid so beautifully on her skin that I was like, I need to try that foundation. It truly is just a beautiful foundation. I feel like it just creates this really beautiful my skin but better appearance, but it's fuller coverage than what I am typically going for, but it feels like a skin tint. So really love this foundation. I feel like my skin looks really pretty when I use it. The same can be said for this on the complete other end of the spectrum. This is the Dior Forever Natural Nude Foundation, and I do have the shade 2CR, so Too Cool Rosy. I didn't know that this was going to be a great shade match for me, but this just goes on and looks so pristine on my skin. I cannot put it down. This also came into my collection around that September mindset time frame. You guys can see I've used so dang much of it because I just want to keep going towards it. All through December, when I was able to use my collection in any way I wanted to, because I'm not project panning, and then I also am not utilizing, products through the Shop My Stash series. I have been wanting to pull this because it was in my Shop My Stash prior to pausing my Shop My Stash. But while it was in my Shop My Stash, I didn't want to stop using it, and there were 5 other foundations in my Shop My Stash. I have had to force myself to not use this. So I would say that like this one would be secondary to this one. But this one is a little bit more light coverage than I feel like the Pretty Fresh one is by ColourPop. It's just so natural on the skin. It moves with your skin, breathes with your skin. It lasts a long time, which is not, I think, something that this does. It does last a good length of time, but this one lasts definitely longer, and or it just wears away in a way that looks really natural to your skin. This would be a foundation that, truth be told, I could forget about and accidentally go to sleep in because I've forgotten that it's on my skin. It just wears away so dang naturally. I love it so much. I also have 2 concealers, imagine that I brought into my collection this year that I feel like are phenomenal concealers, both of which are products that I picked up kind of September-ish part of the year. This one I picked up for a drugstore video that I did, and this one I picked up just because it's Natasha Denona and I had to have it when it released. Completely different cost perspectives, right? This is drugstore. This is a Maybelline Age Rewind Eraser Corrector multi-usage product, and the only thing I hate about this is this poof ball. I think it's disgusting, but it's the only way to utilize the product. So I use the poof ball to put it on my skin and then use my own cleaned every time makeup sponge to get it all over my skin, so that I'm not utilizing this gross nasty poof ball, to be honest. But this is just truly beautiful. I do feel like I'm wearing it today. I do feel like it does its due diligence to just perfect everywhere that I put it. This is also a little bit more my skin tone than this one is. So I feel like I could wear this all over my face if I wanted to, in just the skin, in just the tone that it is. It is the shade 115. I do think that this could be a foundation that I look into in the future because I like the concealer so dang much. It doesn't dry out my eyes. I feel like it gives a good amount of coverage without getting cakey and sinking into fine lines and wrinkles. Like every concealer is going to, it's going to crease. Every concealer is going to do that, to be honest. But I feel like this one does the least. I feel the same way about this one. This is the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer, and I have it in the shade R2, Rosy 2. I do feel like this is definitely an under eye concealer for me because of how light it is. But I do feel like that there is a ton of product in here, and the doe foot is a really, really nice, like kind of flimsy, malleable doe foot, but also one of those ones that's like tear shaped and has the little like hole in the middle to hold on to some product but not hold on to too much product. I also feel like this in my own skin tone could be my perfect no makeup concealer product, because I could use it also as foundation. It is beautiful on the under eyes, and I have found that it is also beautiful on the skin. I did take it with me out of town at one point. However, I had forgotten a foundation product, so I used it as concealer around certain areas of my face that I wanted. Obviously not around my entire face because it is very, very light. It just sits so beautifully on the skin. I love Foundation X Plus, I think it's called, by Natasha Denona. It's a discontinued foundation of hers, which I am very sad about, but it reminds me a lot of the performance and formulation of that product, because it's a really decent coverage product that feels like nothing on your face. So I could wear this as an all over foundation product and not even care in the slightest. The biggest reason why I don't like full coverage products is because I can feel the foundation on my face. Right now I'm wearing a skin tint that I can feel on my face. It's just too thick in my humble opinion. So I'm trying to use it up while I don't have anything that I need to be using instead. And I'm getting there, but I don't like a lot of foundations because they're just too heavy on the face. That's part of the reason why I don't like concealers as well, and I don't feel like those are too heavy on the face. I did purchase a couple of powders this year, and one of which I am in love with is the Pat McGrath. This is her Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye Powder, and when I first purchased it, I purchased it in medium, and I don't know what possessed me purchasing it in medium for an under eye powder, but what I did find is that I loved this powder so much that I am using the medium one on my whole face, and I did end up going and purchasing the light one for my under eyes for under eye brightening, and I just feel like these are so finely milled and beautiful that you can't even tell. They don't make your face look powdery. They don't make your under eyes look cakey. They're just really beautiful. And I am not a powder person. I don't typically fall in love with powders. So the fact that I fell in love with the powder so much that I decided to go purchase a different shade of it so that I could have both. Really should say something. Next I have some like cheek products, so bronzers and blushes. So for bronzers I just have two. These are two bronzers that I cannot put down to save my life. I continue to want to reach for them and had to force myself this month and last month to not reach for them. And again, completely different spectrums of price point. I do have the Revolution Beauty Cream Bronzer and the Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Divine Bronzer in Nude Honey. So this is the Pat McGrath one, and I just feel like this is a perfect shade for me. Perfect tone of bronzer for my light golden olive complexion. It's just really pretty. It does not get orange on my skin, which I have found to be the case for a lot of bronzers. So the fact that this one doesn't get orange on my skin and is just so beautiful on blend is, I mean, it's just, I can't put it down. I'm struggling. So you guys can see there is an imprint on this pan, and it is pretty much worn off because I can't get myself to put it down. It's just so beautiful. And then the Revolution Beauty Ultra Cream Bronzer, I accidentally picked up in dark. And the true story is that I mean, look at how emollient that gets. You stick your finger into it and it just sinks in. It blends out so beautifully. That looks so dark on me, but it blends out so beautifully that I can't return it because I can't put it down. Now, this looks crazy, but on my face, like not a finger swipe of product, but on my face where I've got a lot more geography to go after in a makeup swipe, like this dark doesn't look all that bad on me. As a matter of fact, it makes me feel like I've been in Cabo for a while. It gives me a really nice tan, and it looks like a suntan. It doesn't look like you have cream bronzer all over your face. And that's not saying that a lot of my cream bronzers do. I do have some cream bronzers that look that way, but it reminds me so much of the NARS Laguna cream bronzer. And this one is like a third of the price. So, and this one honestly shocked me because I am a person who used to say every time I purchase anything from Revolution Beauty, I'm pissed off at myself because it's always crap. I was really quite surprised by this product and really happy to have it in my collection and haven't been able to put it down. I want to wear it almost every day. Today I'm not wearing it. Surprisingly, I've got none of these products on except for this, which is a funny story I'll tell you in a second. For blushes, I do have several. So the Gift Beauty blushes that I picked up for my birthday in September have been really the star of the show for me in this last, portion of 2023. These were beautiful, and these were in my Shop My Stash for my rotation that I rolled in October timeframe. I love this one with the orange and kind of the more yellow orange, and the fact that it is the tones that it is. Like I can put the more yellow orange on top of even the deeper orange, and it just gives such a beautiful peachy glow. And because my skin is kind of golden olive, it just looks really natural, like a really natural flush to my cheeks. These two are also beautiful. These are a little less different than each other than these ones are, but really beautiful, beautiful blushes that go on, look kind of glowy without being sparkly. I mean, just really beautiful blushes. This one by House Labs, I struggled with at the beginning of the year. As you guys can see, it is crazy, like hot watermelon orange, and it is called Watermelon Bliss. I struggled with this one at the beginning of the year because I was really into these hot, colors like hot pink, hot orange, hot whatever. And this one I had a harder time blending. But once I figured out how to use it and utilizing a smaller blush to use it and just putting it on my like cheekbones up here on my temples, and then using a lighter color down at the bottom, like for like blush contouring, it has been game changer for me with this blush. And I now feel like I have a really good idea of how to use it. When I first started using it, I didn't think I was going to like it. I thought it was going to be awful. It was super patchy, but I think it's because I was trying to use it with too big of a brush, because I absolutely love it with like a smaller, like this size blush brush versus a bigger blush brush. And it honestly goes pretty perfectly with this. This is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin blush in the shade Golden Hour. This is just such a beautiful cream blush that dries down to powder, really does do some like blurring of the skin. Like if you have any texture on your cheeks, which I do, I have a little bit of dry skin and I'm aging, as I said, it helps to blur that. And honestly, I feel like it makes my skin look healthier after it's been on my cheeks for a few days. So I love that product. And then I also really fell in love with liquid blushes this year, and these are the two that I fell in love with. This one is the Tarte Double Duty Blush and Glow in the shade, I don't know, Pink Glow, I think it's what it's called. Everything that I have mentioned, I have purchased. This was actually gratis. Actually, both of these were gratis. This was, I think, honestly, my first venture into a liquid blush, and I really fell in love with how easy it is to utilize a liquid blush. Like you just put it on your skin and then you just bounce over it with a beauty blender, and look at how beautifully it blends into your skin. It's such a beautiful color. It creates this like luminosity to your face that was not heavy because it wasn't a powder, and I didn't have to put a highlighter over the top of it. I don't know, it's just so pretty. Now it is listed as a cheek plump, and I don't quite understand that because I don't feel like it did anything to plump my cheeks. It had this really beautiful luminosity to it that made my face look more healthy, I guess, more like I drink water every single day, which I don't, because water gives me heartburn. That might be, you know, I am trying to be better at it this year, but water is a struggle bus for me. This made me feel like I looked like I am a water drinker. If that makes any sense. Does that make sense? And this one I fell in love with as well, both on my cheeks, but recently, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. Do you guys see the pink that's in my hairline? Recently I have fallen in love with this product. I love it as a blush, but I have fallen in love with it for a hairline product. And listen, I am looking at all of my Benefit tints that are sitting in my blush drawer thinking, oh my gosh, I have a hairline product forever. Like people use things like eyebrow gels or like, you know, powders. This is a stain, so I don't even have to think about whether it's going to come off on my hands when I run my fingers through my hair. What it is, it just stays there, and there's nothing on my hands that I have to worry about. And it's the perfect color. Now this is really messy. I'm not going to open it up because I did take the stopper out of it because it is also in my project pan, and I'm getting all the use out of it, using it as a hairline product. I love it as a cheek product, but I also really love it as a hairline product. It also is really beautiful as a lip product. Like, I love liquid blushes. Who knew? Next I'm going to do lips because I don't really have a whole lot from the lip category that I fell in love with this year. But I did try lip stains for the first time this year, I do believe. I think there might have been like a little trickle of lip stains that I used in 2022 towards the end of the year from ABH, and I really hated them. So much so that I got rid of them in my collection, but I did find a couple of lip stains that I absolutely love. These are the Fenty Beauty Poutsicles, and what I love about these is look at these crazy colors. And when you look at them, you're really scared because you're like, holy crap, that is the brightest pink I've ever seen in my life. But honestly, it goes on a really beautiful color of bright pink, and you can build it. And as you let it sit, once you wipe it off, it's not really as pink. So these are so beautiful and so buildable. And honestly, every other lip stain that I have had in the past has done nothing but dry out my lips. It's like Armageddon on my lips once I have worn that lip stain. It's like a lip stain once a week maybe while I'm letting my lips heal after the fact. These did not do that. They are so hydrating. They feel good. I don't feel like they like sink into my lip lines at all. Really beautiful, beautiful lip stains, and that would be my number one choice. But I was actually quite impressed by this one as well. This is the Stila Calligraphy lip stain, and this was also a gratis item. I really specifically was interested in this crazy wand, but I do have a video where I kind of showed how you can use it because it's so thin as a lip stain and get a really, really thin line and then flip it and use it to fill in as well. And that takes far less time, right? This also does not dry out my lips. I don't feel like I have to have a lip balm on for every single hour of every single day after wearing it. It's just beautiful. And what I have found that I like doing with lip stains most, putting them on and getting my lips a nice great color to wear underneath a liquid lipstick, because when that liquid lipstick starts to wear away, and we all know that they wear away in the center ring of your lips and kind of give you that like butthole appearance. If I put those lip stains on underneath and then put the liquid lip on top, as the liquid lip wears away, that stain is apparent and it doesn't look as atrocious as it does when you're just wearing the liquid lip. Not only do I use them for that purpose, I also use them just as a lip product because, I mean, who doesn't want a lip product that goes on, that stays on, that looks amazing all throughout the day and that you don't have to touch up 100,000 times? I definitely want that, and I feel like you get that from those stains. And truly, these Fenty Beauty ones are so great because you can have them a really light shade of the shade that's showing, a really deep shade of the shade that's showing. It's just dependent on, number one, how many times you layer it on and wipe it off and then layer another layer over the top of it, and how long you let it sit on there. I just love these so dang much. And there's, you know, with a lip stain, as with this one, you kind of don't get a whole lot of product. It feels like a liquid. This actually feels like a gloss going on your lips, and I think that's why it feels more emollient or more hydrating to the lips as you're putting it on. The last category I have is eyes, and I just want to kind of fly through these because I know that we've been here for like 800 years at this point. One thing that I purchased for the first time this year, which kind of shocks me because I love the brand, are the Natasha Denona Macro Tack Eye Crayons. These are beautiful. Go on to the waterline and the tie line with ease. There is no pulling, no tugging, no anything. They are, you know, sharpenable pencils, but they're so easy to use and so creamy and have just amazing color to them. I did pick up some shades that I don't have typically in my collection, but I picked them up with the Yucca palette because that is how, but look at how crazy stark that like camu color is. It's so beautiful. And what I have found that I love best about this one is putting it on my inner corner and then putting some kind of like highlight over the top of it or something, and then dragging this color into my lower lash line as well. It just looks remarkable. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful burgundy. I can't say enough about this color. And sometimes when an eyeliner is too creamy, like you feel like you're going through it like super quick. I've used each one of these probably 4 times and have yet to sharpen them. So I feel like they are really easy to use and really, really beautiful. And I purchased each one of those. This was gratis. Did I tell you guys that? These I purchased my full-size ones, but I do have 5 of the minis that I got in gratis. These are the About Face Fluid Eye Paints, and this was a crazy thing to come into my collection. I think they came in late, the ones that I purchased anyways, came in late 2022. These ones came in after FLC. These have been remarkable to use as not only an eye base when I'm using like any one of these colors over the top of it, or as an eye base when I just have a lid topper that I want to put over the top of it, but also as a mascara. Like, listen, I told the About Face person that, and she was like, I don't want to know. Like, don't tell me that, because I don't know that they're good for that, and I don't want to school you, but whatever. Listen, I've not had any eye irritation. If they're good enough for your eyes, why are they not good enough for your lashes? That's what I got to say. I take a fan brush just like this, like just a fan brush, right? And I just do this on both sides so that the color is on the fan brush, and then I just take it through my lashes. And I learned this. Yellow was probably not a great color. I don't know. Can you guys see that? I mean, I hope you can see it. Listen, for those of you who've been around for a while, you know I love colored mascara. One of my favorite mascaras is Bad Gal Bang in blue, because it is so pretty with any like blue or purple or even white or silver eye look. So gorgeous. I love colored mascara. Maybe that's the 80s kid in me showing. Who knows? The fact that I can't find any other colored mascara other than that Bad Gal Bang blue, but I can make these a mascara, life problem solved. This was also gratis at first. This one I purchased. So this is the Benefit FanFest mascara, and this has been a kind of a polarizing mascara on the platform. People either really love it or really hate it. I am here to tell you, I am a Bad Gal Bang fan and have since flopped over to this. Like, I don't remember the last time I picked up a Bad Gal Bang except for that blue one. And that's saying a lot, because that is a mascara that I could go through, you know, so many in a year. This has replaced, in my heart, how I feel about Bad Gal Bang. Yeah, you can see that yellow. Look at that yellow. I mean, it's spectacular, is it not? This has replaced Bad Gal Bang because Bad Gal Bang, as little as it did it, I did notice some flaking with Bad Gal Bang sometimes, especially towards the end of the day. It was also a mascara that I felt like once it hit a certain point, it was like donezo, and you couldn't get anything out of it. It didn't make your lashes look fantastic. It also didn't really create a whole lot of volume, but did a great job for length. And I don't really need a whole lot of volume, so I was okay with that. This creates the volume, creates the length, and it's a struggle bus to get off of your lashes. I do have to double cleanse and then still maybe triple cleanse to get it off my lashes, which for some people that's not amazing. It's not waterproof, but it might as well be waterproof. It is so good. It's funny because there was a waterproof one that came out this last year. I cannot remember what it was called. They were like, life proof your lashes. I feel like this does a better job, to be honest. Like, I can put any kind of mascara on underneath it and put this on top, and that mascara is not going anywhere. But I don't feel like I have to mix and match my mascaras with this like I did other mascaras. And that's also saying a lot. Like, this last year, I think I went through 11 mascaras, and most of those came before I pulled the first one of these into my collection. So I very rarely purchase mascara because I get so many of them in gratis. But I got my first FanFest in gratis and then ran out of it, and then went and purchased another one, and then got a couple more in gratis. But this one I actually did purchase. But the first one came into my life through gratis. The last thing I have to share is the palettes that I'm super happy that I brought into my collection. And if you watched my palette ranking, you should know what these palettes are. Like my favorite palettes of the year, these were, I think, top 5. First and foremost, 2 of these were not top 5. Flora Story was number 1 on my palette ranking, and the other 2 were in top 10. But honestly, this whole Perfect World collection by Onsai, one of my favorite purchases of the year, hands down, because Onsai was not a makeup brand that I was familiar with, but it was a makeup brand that I had like been seeing out there, and they had the perfect collection for me. Like, these are beautiful and colorful and work so great. Like, this one is all your like browns and your blues, and then like a couple of like in the sea, like corally shades. This one is the Sea Talk palette in collaboration with Lauren May Beauty. And then they have the Planet Spirit palette, which is in collaboration with Betty Jean or Batty Bean. This is her palette, and I mean, just the artwork, the beautiful colors in this palette. I was so excited to get this collection just for the sheer like color stories of each one of these palettes. After utilizing them and trying them, you can't go wrong with any of these palettes. But this one, green is my favorite color. Purple would be secondary to that. So this one was just truly a palette that stole my heart this year. Their mattes are so good, and their shimmers are just beautiful. Let's do another one. This one is kind of more of a like a flippy green to silver kind of matte, but look at this beautiful like taupey shade. It makes me want to use it. It makes me want to use it every day. And if I didn't have the palette collection that I had, and these were, you know, 3 of the only palettes that were in my collection, I would be perfectly happy. I could see that being a thing. If these 5 palettes included that I'm about to show you were the only ones in my collection, I think I'd be perfectly happy. The next one is the Natasha Denona Yucca palette. I do believe that this one was number 2 in my palette ranking. And again, green is my favorite color. This is the one that I purchased with all of the eyeliners that I purchased, and those go so perfectly with this palette. These are just beautiful, and you can see just how much I have used this palette. It's really that really beautiful like fall-esque eyeshadow palette. You know what it reminds me of? I think I've said this before, but it reminds me of the Natasha Denona Gold palette, because it looks so, in pictures and online and in marketing, it looks so blah, but it is so beautiful. Like, the formulation of Natasha Denona palettes are my favorite anyways. Her eyeshadows are my favorite. She's my favorite brand. So that being said, formulation, hands down, best out there. This color story, beautiful, fantastic. And then the last one is my Chucky in Love palette from Glamlight in collaboration with Chucky. And Glamlight, it also has an amazing formula, and I have been familiar with their formulations for a while. I think I brought Glamlight into my collection for the first time a couple years ago. This could have gone very wrong. Really deep colors and grays are super hard for formulation for a lot of companies, grays specifically. This is beautiful. Like, just the blood red tones and the grays to combat that, and the black and all of the shimmers in here, and how really purple this actually gets and how really red this actually gets, but looks very like grayscale. Oh, such a beautiful palette, and what a brilliant Valentine's Day collaboration for Glamlight to do. That is what I have as my favorite products from 2023, what I brought into my collection. Almost everything here I purchased myself. The only things that I did not like purchase myself were these things. So really happy to be making smarter purchasing decisions in my life, in my beauty inventory, in the things that I love. I spent a good majority of last year really being a little bit more picky about what I brought into my collection versus, just, oh, I'm going to buy it all. Especially towards the latter half of the year because I was buying a house and moving and it was crazy chaotic for me. But I'm really glad that I have all these things in my collection. So let me know. I've seen a million videos out there already about best of 2023, but I would like to know from you guys, what is your favorite product that you brought into your collection last year? I would be super interested to hear from you down in the comments section. I love all the conversation that goes on down there, so don't forget to hit me up. Just words of wisdom here. I just wiped off my hand and those are still loud and proud on my hand. You guys, those are really, really great eye pencils. The one thing like I can say is I have super watery eyes. Those go absolutely nowhere. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that you got what you needed. A little bit of a makeup fix for you. I hope that you and yours are well, that you are all safe and healthy and getting along as best you can, that you are staying out of the winter weather, whatever part of the world that you are in. I hope that you guys are having an awesome day. Love each other, but love each other from afar. And until next time. Bye, friends.